Good morning, everyone, from a very hot and sunny pool in Dorset. And what a lovely day it is as well. So after my complaining and moaning about how Daniel Levy and the recruitment team were going about doing business with West Ham United, lo and behold, we had a here we go from Fabrizio Romano on Mohammed Kudus, as it is now pronounced, apparently. And late last night, we got the official headline come out with the video and interview and all the rest of it. And Tottenham have now signed a quality Premier League proven player for the first team. Hooray! Hooray! And on top of that, whilst it's being shown as an undisclosed fee, the understanding is that this came out at somewhere around £55 million, which I have to say I'm actually quite shocked about, because when we were talking about it in my previous video, we were talking about £50 million plus add-ons if Tottenham win the Champions League or the Premier League, which was my point about in that video, was that was laughable because we're not anywhere near ready to win the Premier League or the Champions League, not with one player coming in. So I just had no view that West Ham would accept anything around that sort of price with those conditions. But apparently 55 million, and not even paid in one lump sum, paid in instalments, which is even more shocking, to be honest with you. So if I had a hat on, I'd have to take it off and say well done to the recruitment guys and who were doing that negotiation, because to pick up a player of that quality for £55 million is really, really good business. Now, like I've said, I'm not going to jump up and down and go, wow, this is a mega deal and all the rest of it. I still think £55 million for a player is an awful lot of money, But in today's market, I guess that's about right. I was thinking, maybe 50 million was a good offer. But bearing in mind he had an £85 million release clause, you think to yourself, well, they're never going to go for that. But actually, an extra 5 million there or thereabouts seems to have been enough to tip them over the edge. So their need must be far greater than ours. Unless, of course, there is more to this deal that we don't know in terms of add-ons and stuff like that may come about or whatever. I guess sell-on clauses, maybe. I don't know. But on the face of it, from what we can see, absolutely fantastic bit of business. Decent player, gives us a lot more options on the right-hand side. And, of course, through the middle, can play as a number 10 and can play either left side or right side, but mainly preferred on the right hand side. So really, really good to see a player of that sort of quality come into the team. It's what we've been crying out for. It's what, even going back to Conte's time, what Conte was calling for, what Postecoglou was calling for at the end of his tenure. But clearly the board are finally listening and bringing in this quality player. Now, I say that the board are listening, not because of this one signing, but because, as well as the here we go for Mohammed Kudus, we also have a here we go for Gibbs White. Two quality players, Premier League proven, here we goes in one day. What's going on? I just don't get it. Where did that come from? So that's kind of gone right under the radar, but it looks like Tottenham have triggered the £60 million release clause and are now able to talk to Gibbs White, and apparently his medical is today. So before the end of this week, we could have two proven players, Premier League standard, decent attacking players in the team, as well as another player coming in from the J-League. 3 signings within a week, which is pretty much unheard of, to be fair. So I don't know what's going on. Are Tottenham's board actually listening? is there going to be even more than that? I mean, even if you consider Morgan Gibbs White, who I think is out and out quality, I really like him, playing predominantly as a 10, so backup or I've lost the word. You know, he's coming in a position to challenge Kulusevski, to challenge Maddison, and so on. It gives us those options in there that we didn't necessarily have before, and we've been struggling with. You know, we know that Maddison gets injured. We also know that there from time to time he goes missing. We know that Kulu gets injured, and we know that he's versatile in terms of playing out on the right and on the left and playing through the middle. We know that same with Brennan Johnson. Brennan Johnson may well go as a second striker, come off the back of Solanke, for instance. So you know that does give us some pretty good options in there. So a backup defender, a number 10, and someone for the right wing to challenge in there, starting to look like a decent start to a transfer window. Now we know there's plenty more to come. We need more than that. You know, we still probably need to decide what's going to happen with Sonny. Is he staying? Is he going to be our preferred left winger? I know we've got Tell there to cover. We've got Odebear. We've got Moore as well at this moment in time. So needs to be some juggling around of who's actually going to be in what squad. For me, you know, I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy with that. I'd like to see another out and out striker, if I'm honest. You know, I would really like to see that, because I don't think Richarlison's going to come good. As much as I like him as a person, I don't think he's going to come good just yet. And I think there's better players out there. I think Richarlison probably needs to move on for his football if he wants to keep playing in the number 9 for Brazil. And I don't think he's going to get those opportunities. But I do think that we could have someone in who could rotate with Solanke, who I really do like. And the one that we're talking about at the moment is Johan Wissa, who again I think is a decent player. So, you know, it is interesting. I guess the other one that's kind of being said in kind of whispers rather than being shouted out, to be honest with you, and for good reason not to shout it out, because if it would happen, it would be amazing, is Adam Wharton. Now, I really like that guy. I think he's absolute quality and would give us that midfielder that we're really, really looking for. But I'm not sure that's going to happen, is it? I'm not sure that's going to happen. We're spending out the money that we've just spent out. 150 million for those 3 players, and if you include telling that as well, is a big outlay. So, are they going to go even bigger? Could this be the season that we actually start to act like a big club and go out there and really bring in the reinforcements that we need? Don't forget, we've got Champions League football. We need those players. And people going, where's this one going to play? Where's that one going to play? It's about options. It's about opportunity. It's about, if a player's not performing, that you get the opportunity to take him off the pitch, put someone of as good as, if not better quality, onto the pitch in that game to give you that, you know, that spark to see a game out. Whereas previously under Postecoglou, we've had to look on the bench and go, okay, let's bring on this, you know, 18-year-old kid who's just starting out, you know, and rely on him. As well as Bergvall did, you know, how much better would it be looking across to the bench and having Premier League proven players there to pull in? So for me, I'm really happy with this progress. Morgan Gibbs White not done deal yet, but when Romano says here we go, you kind of think, well, that's pretty good. So fingers crossed we get a here we go for Wissa, or here we go for Adam Wharton, and this isn't the end of it. As I say, I think we need a couple of more extra quality players in there to really say what an outstanding pre-season transfer window this would be. Of course, they've got to come on, they've got to do the business when they come. So that's another question. But, you know, Kudus from West Ham, one of their better players, one of their best players. That's a decent signing. Morgan Gibbs White as well from Nottingham Forest, another really good quality player who would thrive in a more expansive team. So fingers crossed we're not done yet, but we'll see. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Up the Spurs.